Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at a source that it really sits at this strange intersection between, the very real world of demolition contracts and something else entirely, something ancient.
It's a first-person account from a demolition operator, and his job, this one specific job at an abandoned psychiatric hospital, it just goes completely off the rails.
It really does. It becomes this confrontation between, like, bureaucratic red tape and a kind of dread that is just inexplicable.
And that's what makes this such a fascinating case study for you, the learner. It's not really just a ghost story about a haunted building.
Right.
It's about how this intense, very modern anxiety financial pressure can make a person violate boundaries that history and even the law had put up for a reason.
Right. The entire tragedy really hinges on him choosing a profit margin over a pretty clear institutional warning.
It does.
So that's our mission today. We're going to unpack this whole story piece by piece and track how the need to meet a deadline led this guy to break a seal that had held for decades.
And the catastrophic price he ended up paying for that choice.
Okay, so let's get into it. The job is tearing down Ridgeway State Hospital. It's this massive kind of Gothic 1930s building, and it's been sitting empty since '87.
And the money is everything here. That's the key. There's a $30,000 bonus on the line for beating the deadline.
And for this operator, that 30 grand isn't just extra cash. It's survival. It's how he keeps his crew and his trucks running through the winter.
Which puts him in a really difficult position from the jump. I mean, his financial situation basically dictates his ethics. He even says he was already looking for shortcuts before he even stepped on the site.
And that vulnerability, it gets exploited almost immediately. During the walkthrough with the city rep, a guy named Harris.
Yeah, everything is going fine. It's all standard until they get down into the sub-basement, deep behind the boiler room.
Right, and the source says the air down there just changes. It gets heavy even before they see what's there.
And there is a wall where a storage annex should be. The blueprint says Archive B.
But it's just a brick wall. And it's not an original wall either. It's sloppy, uneven mortar. Someone sealed that hallway by hand. It looks like they did it in a hurry.
And this is where the bureaucracy just becomes this weapon. Harris, the city rep, says the section was sealed sometime in the early 2000s, and it's, quote, unacknowledged on any current plans.
Unacknowledged? I mean, what does that even mean?
It means if you touch it, everything stops. Any tampering triggers a mandatory freeze, 4 to 6 weeks minimum for environmental reviews, historical reviews.
And just like that, the $30,000 bonus is gone. It's evaporated. He can't afford that delay. He's trapped between the contract and this wall.
So he makes a decision. He decides he's going to handle the wall himself.
Yeah.
Quietly, alone, after hours.
It's a huge gamble. He figures if it's empty, he just logs it and moves on. If it's not, well, no one will ever know he was in there.
But the demolition starts, and it's like the building itself starts to push back.
Yeah, the disturbances are small at first, almost dismissible. Tools moving around overnight, power flickering, even though they're on generators. He just blames it on stress, an old building settling.
But these things, they're like little points of psychological erosion. They're priming the crew for what's coming. And then it escalates from these passive things to, well, active ones.
Absolutely. The sounds get worse. Hollow footsteps, banging noises coming from halls they've already cleared.
And then it gets personal.
It does. A crew member, Carl, radios in. He's in the East Wing and swears he heard someone whisper his name right through a heating vent.
And when he checks it?
The vent is clogged solid.
Yeah.
30 years of dust and filth. Whatever called his name, it wasn't using air to do it.
See, that shift from just general noise to a personal summons, a name, that's classic. It turns the threat from something abstract into something targeted, malicious.
But the real turning point is Manny.
Manny, the reliable one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ex-military, totally unflappable guy.
Yeah.
The narrator finds him down in the sub-basement, just staring at that bricked-up corridor. Pale, glassy-eyed.
Manny is the one person who sees the line and just refuses to cross it.
He quits, right there on the spot. He won't even take his final check. He just grabs his tools and walks off the site.
And he says only one thing.
It doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
That's it. And the narrator is so focused on the deadline that he completely misses the real question, which is, what is it?
And while he's ignoring that, the entity, or whatever it is already getting to him. He's barely sleeping, having these recurring dreams.
Always the same dream. A long room, rows of chairs, and one empty seat that feels. He says it feels not really empty, like it's waiting for him.
The contamination is already inside his head before he's even breached the wall.
3 days later, panicked about the time he's lost, he goes down there. Alone. late at night, and with a concrete saw, he attacks the wall.
It's like modern industrial power versus some ancient metaphysical boundary. He even says the mortar was incredibly thick, industrial grade, like whoever sealed it really, really did not want it opened.
He finally smashes through the sledgehammer, and the air that comes out is thick, musty. But the corridor beyond it is pristine.
That's the word that should just send a chill down your spine. Pristine.
Yeah.
In a building that's been rotting since 1987, full of water damage and graffiti, this one section is spotless. No dust, except for his own boot prints. This isn't just neglect, it implies active preservation.
At the end of this perfectly clean hall, there's a single padded cell.
And inside, it's just a tableau of horror. A hospital cart with these heavy leather restraints, a thin mattress, all sunken in, a cracked mirror on the wall.
But what he sees first is the floor. There's a perfect circle etched deep into the linoleum tiles, carved with something impossibly sharp.
It makes him feel dizzy, he says, vertigo, like the circle had its own gravity.
Which brings us right into, folklore. The bindings are right.
Exactly. This isn't just a drawing. The fact that it has a physical effect on him suggests it's functional. It's radiating some kind of contained power.
And next to the bed, there's a patient logbook. He opens it to the final page, and there's a handwritten warning. 3 rules.
Do not remove her. Do not observe her. Do not allow her name to be spoken aloud.
He's just broken the first 2 rules.
And by breaking the seal, he's entered the containment field and found the key to the lock. Because the name is everywhere.
Scratched deep into the book's cover, into the leather straps all over the padded walls, over and over again like it was carved with fingernails.
And the moment he reads the name to himself,
the room just snaps. The temperature plummets. He can see his breath. And the cart behind him, this empty medical cart, it creaks violently.
He runs, doesn't even turn around. He just flees, terrified that he's let something out.
And he tries to cover it up the next morning, boards up the opening, slaps an asbestos sign on it. But it's too late. The entity is out, and it starts to fight back. Hard.
And these are not subtle accidents anymore. These are targeted, violent acts designed to stop the demolition.
A gas line gets hit. The backhoe crushes a critical support beam. A welder, Nate, gets 2nd and 3rd degree burns and just stares silently into the flame.
It's manipulating them, forcing errors.
Until finally Reggie, an old-timer, gets his wrist broken by a falling support bracket, and he just mutters, "Something grabbed me."
And that's it. The crew is gone. They abandon the job. He's alone.
That night, he checks the security footage, and he finds it. At 2:07 a.m., the infrared sensor picks up movement along the perimeter fence.
But there's no body heat signature.
And no footprints in the gravel. He wasn't human, it wasn't an animal, it was just intent moving across the site.
He goes back one last time. He's desperate. He knows contract is lost, but he needs answers.
And he hears it, this wet, rasping, crying sound. A woman's voice, singing a lullaby with no tune.
He's being lured back in. The building is literally closing in around him, doors clicking shut behind him as he walks.
He gets to the cell, it's empty. But the mirror on the wall has a fresh, crack spiderwebbing out from the center. And the circle on the floor, the binding circle, it's faded, almost gone.
The binding is failing. Or maybe it's already failed.
And in his panic, his sleep-deprived state, he makes the final fatal error. He thinks that knowing the name gives him control, power.
He thinks it's a key he can use.
So he whispers her name, once, then again.
And that's it. That's the moment. The containment is transformed into permission.
The silence in the room just gets sucked away. All this pressure fills the space. The cart groans. The restraints on it snap tight.
And the mirror.
The mirror uncracks itself with this low, sick pop.
Aww.
And for just a second, he sees his reflection. And behind him, a second face. Hollow-eyed, incomplete, its lips mouthing the name he just spoke.
He didn't gain control. He gave an invitation. He broke the one fundamental rule of silence and gave the entity permission to act, to be free.
The next thing he knows, it's 3 days later. He's strapped to a stretcher, dehydrated. EMTs are telling him the whole sub-basement corridor just folded in on itself.
Yeah.
A freak structural failure.
Which is the perfect mundane explanation. It erases all the evidence. The city has nothing left to investigate. It's just gone.
And here's a real twist. A new crew comes in, finishes the job. No problems, no delays, no accidents, nothing.
He gets an email confirming the site is clear, with pictures. The padded cell is stripped clean, the restraints are gone, and the name. It's been erased from every surface.
And he gets his bonus.
He gets his $30,000. But the real question is, at what cost? The entity was clearly gone before the new crew arrived.
Or maybe the new crew just couldn't see it. because they didn't have the forbidden knowledge that he did.
He got his money, he saved his business, but he traded his safety for it.
And the final moments of the account, he's at home, looking at those photos of the cleared site. And he starts to feel it again, that pressure. His own room feels colder, darker. The silence feels like it's waiting for something.
He realizes that just because it's not at the site anymore doesn't mean it's gone.
His last thought, the final line, is just, maybe she came with me.
It's a profound lesson, really, about what happens when you breach a seal like that. Forbidden knowledge is never neutral. He got his reward, but the story makes you think the entity got a much bigger one. It's freedom.
Thank you for helping us unpack this really compelling and, frankly, disturbing account.
And we'll leave you with one final thought. If this thing was bound by keeping its name silent, what does it mean that we're sharing this account right now? Does relaying these details, letting the knowledge of its release spread, does that widen the permission it now has to exist? What's the true consequence of letting ancient things remain unacknowledged?